Hey guys, Mark here from Echidna Gaming, back with another analysis video where, let's face it, we'll probably go into absurd detail about a fictional blue rodent and his earliest rival Knuckles the Enchilada. You all know the drill by now, and I'm just going to embrace it, as I'm way too far past the point of shame to turn back now. In this video, we're going to try to answer the age-old question that used to plague school playgrounds all over the world in the 90s, back when what is now classic Sonic was the only Sonic, and the series was at the height of its popularity. Who would win in a fight? Sonic or Knuckles? Sonic, right? And that nicely wraps up the video. Thanks for watching. Nah, I couldn't do my boy Knuckles dirty like that. But seriously, to any of the more recent fans watching, this question probably seems farcical at best, or laughable at worst. The answer is quite clearly and definitively Sonic, right? What hope does this brain-dead jock, who apparently doesn't know his left from his right, have against cool as a cucumber, never has any self-doubt, laughs in the face of any danger, Sonic the Hedgehog? I'm not kidding though. He no longer takes anything seriously. What? Existence is going to end? Your 80-year-old sidekick was traumatized after believing you were dead? You've supposedly been held captive and tortured? Show some damn emotion, you monster! Knuckles is probably better known now as a meme, or for just kind of being there, if he's lucky. But back in the day, the question of who would beat who between Sonic and Knuckles was as common among kids as would X-fictional character beat Superman. Who would win in a wrestling match, The Rock or Stone Cold? Or whose dad could beat up whose dad? We were super mature kids, obviously. Knew what was important. When Knuckles literally smashed his way onto the scene back in '94, the hype around this brand new character, and the series as a whole, was truly something to behold. He was on the boxes of the brand new games, the front of the official comics, the cover of gaming magazines, and when you asked someone who their favourite Sonic character was, it was often a near 50-50 split between the titular blue hero himself and the all-new Big Red with dreads. And while Sonic and Knuckles are best buds now, we all know that wasn't always the case, as albeit under false pretenses, a fateful encounter saw them meet for the first time as enemies. You've all heard this one before, right? Robotnik crashes his death egg on Angel Island after his defeat in Sonic 2, and promptly tricks Knuckles, the island's guardian, into believing Sonic is the bad guy here to steal his precious jewels. Knuckles, not one to be dissed, or prepared to see his trust fund gem stolen, sets out to put a stop to this emerald thief. And it's in this moment that Knuckles violently shovel-clawed his way into the hearts of the fans, straight up knocking Sonic out of his super form the second he lays eyes on him. And if first impressions are everything, then Knuckles' methods of introducing himself are in a class of their own. With the power of the Chaos Emeralds, Sonic is impervious to pretty much all damage, so what Knuckles achieved here is incredibly impressive. And sure, a cynic could just explain it all away as they just wanted a cool introduction for the character, but if you look closely enough, there are threads of lore in the universe that help explain how Knuckles may have done this. Knuckles is the guardian of Angel Island, and knows every inch of this floating landmass like the back of his hand. And along with his ability to dig tunnels, this allows him to get around the island much faster than anyone else, making it very easy for him to get the jump on Sonic. And he does so throughout the entire game. But as guardian of the island, Knuckles is also tasked with protecting its most valuable and powerful treasure, the Master Emerald. It's his ancestral links with this huge stone that gives Knuckles the ability to detect its whereabouts, even when shattered into pieces. And one would assume, by extension, this might be the case for the Chaos Emeralds as well, as the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds are intrinsically linked. So, with this knowledge of the island, and his connection with the Emeralds as their guardian, maybe we shouldn't be too surprised Knuckles knows of ways to combat beings who use the power of these mystical stones against him. Sonic is only now coming to grips with their full potential, having only discovered his super form in the previous game. Knuckles, on the other hand, already has extensive knowledge of them, and just like in his fight against Mecha when it attains a super form, he could well be able to launch a precision attack on Sonic at the exact moment his super form takes a dip in power, leaving him dazed and confused in this strange new place, feeling a bit like High five! And Tails like he punched the highlights out of her hair! And it's true, in the canon, Sonic goes on to beat Knuckles one-on-one in this very game. But there are explanations as to why Knuckles may not have been at his best in this fight. similar to how Sonic kept coming up short against Silver in 06, yet Shadow deals with him without issue. Sonic was distracted by Elise being in danger, and as such, wasn't able to concentrate fully on their fight. Knuckles has been run ragged around the entire island, trying to stay ahead of this blue speed demon he thinks is trying to turn his world upside down. And now, Sonic has made his way to Hidden Palace, where the Master Emerald rests not 50 feet away. So you'd have to imagine there's a certain element of panic setting in for our noble guardian here. Someone he believes to be evil is about to steal the Master Emerald, a stone of untold power and the reason his home can remain safely airborne. The stakes are high here, and desperation can lead to mistakes. Knuckles soon learns that he was tricked, and swallowing his pride, turns to Sonic for help, with the pair working together to liberate the Master Emerald from Robotnik and return Angel Island to the sky. As I mentioned before, Knuckles even defeats Sonic's mecha doppelganger in its super form, perhaps redeeming himself from his loss to the real deal earlier in the game. And while Sonic and Knuckles finish up the events of this game with a mutual respect for each other, it doesn't quite stop Knuckles from clashing with Sonic again in Sonic Adventure 1 due to a mix of naivety and blindly carrying out his role as Guardian. Interestingly though, you get to play the fight from both sides in this game, and this gives the narrative the ability to protect both characters from a loss, as from both perspectives, the two fight until Eggman exploits their stupidity, stealing the Chaos Emeralds, with no clear winner of their little tiff. But something I always found expanded the story of Sonic 3 and Knuckles in awesome ways, and added the most to the lore, was the comic adaptations, and you better believe they took the opportunity to expand on Sonic's clash with Big Red. Just like in the game, Fleetway's Sonic the Comic sees Tails and Knuckles fly to Angel Island to find out what has become of Robotnik after the Death Egg crash, only for Sonic to run face first into a knockout blow from Knuckles. Like the game, Robotnik has tricked Knuckles into believing Sonic is an emerald thief, feeding him some sob story about being a humble servant of the people and living in fear of Sonic. Their fights in this comic were just excellent, as they were able to show in detail the unique fighting skills of both characters in ways that the games at the time simply couldn't. Sonic obviously uses his speed to gain the advantage, landing hits quickly while dodging attacks, and generating a cyclone to physically launch Knuckles. Knuckles excels in raw power, dishing out devastating punches and possessing the strength to cause earthquakes, disrupting Sonic's speed. They even gave cool nods to Knuckles' ability to dig and Sonic's insta-shield. The level of detail was just sublime, and these comics just increased my enjoyment of the games tenfold, as in my mind, I'd always integrate them into the game world in any way I could, even imagining this very basic fight to look more like this whenever I played it. But perhaps the best thing about how Sonic vs. Knuckles was handled in the comics was how it protected both characters from coming out the loser. Each had moments where they got the best of the other, with their fights ultimately ending up in a no contest. Tails even asks Sonic after their encounter if he thinks he could have beaten Knuckles, and as you'd expect, Sonic says it was a sure thing. He was only getting warmed up. But his internal dialogue sees him wish he meant that, conceding that Knuckles was actually really tough, and that he doesn't think he's seen the last of him. As with the games, Knuckles eventually figures out that Robotnik is the bad guy, and teams up with Sonic to put an end to his schemes for the Master Emerald. The comics even had the whole pink to red color swap for Knuckles, just as we seen in vanilla Sonic 3 versus Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which I always thought was really cool. As for the question we set out to answer at the beginning, who would win in a fight between these two icons, the answer really depends on which Knuckles we're talking about here. The goofy doofus, who was only really around for comic relief, relegated to the sidelines until the next time we need a new meme? Or the noble guardian of Angel Island, Sonic's original rival who simply didn't like him at first, but grew to eventually enjoy his company after discovering a world beyond his island and learning Sonic's intentions were just. Adventure-era Knuckles, and more relevantly to this video, classic Knuckles, is far from a laughable opponent for Sonic. Sure, if we're keeping score, Sonic is probably slightly ahead, but like the best depictions of their rivalry, I think the question of who would win in a fight to the end is best left unanswered. The toughest battle these two ever had was learning to work together with their vastly different personalities, eventually learning to use this yin and yang relationship to their advantage, becoming a force to be reckoned with. So there's no reason these two would ever need or want to find out who would win in a fight to the end. No, I don't want to see these guys as just buddies with no conflict or competitiveness in their relationship. These two were at their best when they would disagree on stuff, like on the shuttle to the Ark in Sonic Adventure 2 when the Master Emerald pieces are lost in space, or just who is toughest and can destroy the most badniks. And while going back to these points in time in the series to enjoy watching a rivalry and character progression done right is awesome, it also just saddens me to see how far things have fallen for Knuckles since. And that's another reason I decided to make this video. I could sit and talk with anyone about classic Sonic all day, but Knuckles, and so many other characters in the series, have just been ruined or pushed aside for far too long now. And it feels good to just shoot the shit with you guys and chat about how awesome this character used to be. And who knows, maybe I read too much into old comics, or wordless sprite-based cutscenes in games on a 30-year-old machine. Maybe a lot of it's just headcanon. But the threads of logic are there, and I get no end of enjoyment out of talking about crap like this, so indulge me. But I'm also really interested to hear what you guys think. Who do you think would win in a fight between Sonic and Knuckles? Or, like me, do you think it's better left unanswered? And what are your thoughts on the depictions of Knuckles back then versus now, including his relationships with other characters? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, if you enjoyed the video and found the content interesting, please consider subscribing and throwing a like on the video. I make lots of deep dive analysis videos on Sonic characters and the series lore, as well as reviews and retrospectives on Sonic games, and from time to time other games too. So if any of this sounds interesting to you and you'd like to show your support, hit that subscribe button. Your subs really help the channel, and each and every one of them is hugely appreciated. But for now, a big thank you for watching. And as always guys, take care.